Good morning, guys. This is Chris from AM/PM Runs, and today I want to do my first little shoe review of the Mount to Coast H1s. I've now put 50 miles on them over the course of 3 weeks, I think, 3 or 4 weeks, about a month. Um, I've run a half marathon in them. I've done two 10-mile long runs, and I've done some intermediary speed work on and off the trail. The half marathon was all a trail run, if you saw from last week's highlights and the weekly review. Um, I I found myself to really love these shoes. The midsole is a recycled feedstock, I believe. It's called Circle Cell, but they equate it to a PIBA, which is a race foam, similar to the ZoomX foam and like the Light Strike Pro and the Adidas. It honestly has a closer feel to the Light Strike Pro foam. I would say in the Evo SL, it's a little bit more firm than the Adios Pro 4. So it's a bit more firm of a ride. You can kind of see when I squish on it, it's very squishy, but it's not like crushing in squish, which is honestly really good for a shoe that you're made to take on the road and on the trail, because you don't want it super mushy and wallowy while you're out on the trails at a faster speed. Speaking of those speeds, I found the shoe kind of has multiple personalities, which is kind of the point. The name H1, it's for hybrid run for the road to trail. I've noticed that it's a great shoe at all speeds. It kind of feels like standard trainer above like a 9, like a recovery pace that you might want something with a higher stack. It's okay, it's fine at that speed. It doesn't feel anything remarkable. But when you're getting into the 7, 8 miles of a long run and you really need to pick it up and you try to force yourself down into like the 7 to 8.5 minute mile pace, it really springs back to life in a really satisfying way. I found that it would compress and kick back off around the 7.5 minute mile pace way more lively. It would feel like a different shoe under my feet the faster I would go. And I just thought it was a really interesting way for the shoe to behave because it felt great on feet. When you're running those long runs and you need to take it slower, it's just a comfortable daily kind of trainer feel. Or if you pick up the pace, it will pick up the pace with you. It's very lightweight. I'll put the weight up on the screen. I think it's like 7.5 or 8 ounces, something like that. But it disappears on your feet. It has this nice dual lacing system right down here. I didn't think I would really like it. I was really worried because I have a hard time. I mostly run in Adidas shoes, so laces are quite a sore subject for me. They're always a struggle to get them right. And I was just worried this would add a weird, needless complication. But I actually found I really, really like it. You cinch down the bottom and then just tie up the top, and I never had to adjust this. Even with my feet swelling on the half marathon and stuff, it performed like a champ. I didn't have to worry about it at all. The laces up top I found were a little short. Like a lot of the times I find myself trying to like quickly lock it in and I have very little left on the ends, but you could always just swap those laces. But I don't think I will. I don't really have any problems with that aspect of it. As you can see, I got the white pair. They are turning brown very slowly. Not turning brown, but just covered, caked in dirt from all the trail runs and just running through dirt and mud, which is what it is made for. You can see on the bottoms here, the traction has held up very well. I've run a lot on wet concrete, through mud, through sand, and it performed like a champ through all of them. I will say, comparing shoes to shoes, I noted this when I talked about my half marathon with my friends and family. The Adidas Terex Ultras that cut my feet up really bad. When I ran through the similar sandy sections on trails, I kind of felt like I was gliding over them in a really satisfying way. I felt like I could fly through them. I did notice on these, on my half, either my legs were more tired or it just didn't have the same cut through for the foam. It felt more like I was trudging through it while I was working my way through the trails with heavy, deep sand. but not the end of the world. I feel like that's just most shoes, just an observation I had where it didn't glide as well over those. And it might be because as the lack of the fuel rods or any kind of plate in here, it is just the Circle Cell foam all the way through. And that's okay. Sometimes it's nice to have a uncomplicated, well-priced shoe at only $160. It is honestly fantastic. I would compare a lot of its character and feel to like the Evo SL if it had a better upper and like a trail bottom. Is if you've run in the Adidas SL, it's very fun and playful. It can do the slower speeds. It's a lot of fun at the faster speeds, and it sits somewhere in the middle of just being happy to do both for you and keep your legs comfortable, no aches or pains, any of my runs. If you watch the weekly recaps, you'll know I took the insoles out at one point, and I had a hard time getting them to sit back in the right spot, and it was causing some rubbing. Eventually got it to sit right back in its spot. I would just recommend not taking the insoles out and putting other ones in unless they absolutely work. But if you do that and then you start getting uncomfortable rubbing, just keep taking it in and out, and eventually you'll find it back in the spot. I have not touched it since I found the spot, and I have no rubs, no pain, nothing, no hot spots. It is a dream to run in, and I will continue putting on tons and tons of miles. I went for my 10-mile run this morning on the street, and I was extremely excited to lace these up and go for that run. Can't recommend them enough. The padding in the back, nice and comfortable. The tongue is not very thick, but it's just enough padding where I didn't get any kind of pain on the top of my foot. I ran in the US size 10. I found that they fit true to size. No real complaints. This is my first shoe review, so I'm trying to keep it shorter than my weekly recaps because I also go in a little bit of how I'm feeling about the shoes as I run in them. So if you want some more beyond just my impressions and thoughts on them, you can check out those videos. So yeah, for these, I'm feeling a number score of a 1 through 10 with decimals in between. And I'm feeling a nice 9 on these shoes. I really love them. I do wish that the laces were a little bit longer so I could get a better tie down on them, maybe enough space to double knot it just so they don't loosen up at all during the runs, which for you it might be better if your feet swell a lot. Mine don't, so a couple times I do know I had to retie just the tops to bottoms with that lace system. Worked really well, so I'm a big fan of that. That's about it though. I would be curious to see how these would behave if they made a shoe version with kind of a plate or fuel rods with this foam. I know Mount to Coast makes other shoes, I think a couple with a plate, but the foam is a completely different. And I think that's really what's special about this shoe is the Circle Cell foam on the bottom is lively. It's so much fun to run in. So I'd love to see that on a more road shoe. The traction on these were really good. I would be worried taking it on any more serious trails, but for the hybrid shoe that it is, H1, hybrid shoe 1, it's a great 9 out of 10. If you run on road 2 trails or even some light gravel roads, some sand, nothing too heavy trudging, I would say pick these up. It's a no-brainer at 160. They're a great deal. I can see these lasting a really long time, and I'll probably do another check-in around 100, 150 miles because I will keep wearing them. I'm a big fan. Strong out the gate for my first shoe review being a 9, but honestly, these are fantastic shoes. I'm sure if you've seen other reviews, you know that they are the real deal. So give them a try for yourself if you can. Like I said, I went true to size. I do know some reviews said that they fit a little big. I did not find that to be the case. They fit perfect for me. They're snug without being too roomy. The roominess is perfect. So, like I don't feel rubbed, but I don't feel like I'm sliding around in the shoe at all. So that's my thoughts and opinions on the Mountain Coast H1. If you bought them, run in them, return them, or have any thoughts on them, please let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Probably a weekly recap or maybe another shoe review. See you guys then.